four areas and go into like the history of them. One is education, one is housing, the other one is jobs and employment, and then health. So just really looking at why there are rebellions. And I was in Kansas City in '68 when we had the rebellion there. And so there's patterns of similarity. So when we look at, for example, in 1968, there were over 100 cities that went up in smoke because of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King. But it wasn't just the King assassination that caused that. It was like the years of systematic injustices and abuses in those areas that I just talked about, and the killing of King sort of was the match that lit the fire. And so in this case, it was Mike Brown shooting, because it's been years and years of injustices that we've been enduring, and people keep saying, what's wrong with you folks in St. Louis? You all never like rise up. Partly that's true because it is something in the water here, but I also wanted to show that there has been resistance and struggle from the time we came to St. Louis. And so I wanted to sort of put that to rest too, because part of it is not fair, because people have been struggling. And to say that nothing is happening here is just not true. So when I started writing the book, you know, I really wanted to look at, for example, starting with St. Louis, what we know now. So for example, we know that it's been tabbed as one of the most dangerous cities, one of the most racially segregated cities, one of the least friendly kid cities, #1 in racial mortgage rate disparity, the highest percentage of unbanked black households, the highest rate of sexually transmitted diseases. So you see where I'm going with this. All the things that are negative, we are scoring really, really high. The things that are positive, we're at the very bottom. So those things really help to keep people oppressed and down. And at a certain point when we now know, and many of us knew already, what was happening with the municipal court system in North County, then you got that added on top of poor people who are trying to make a living, and you get a stupid traffic ticket or a jaywalking ticket that starts off being $20 and ends up being, you know, $1,200. That's the kind of stuff. I just recently made some comments on my blog yesterday about a report, an investigative piece that had been done by ProPublica, and they talked about the St. Louis and Missouri have the highest, one of the highest of, I'm trying to think exactly how they framed it, collection rates in the country. Mm-hmm. And particularly Moline Acres and Hathaway Manor was really high. So this $34 million went out of our community from 2008 to 2012 with debtors taking money out of black people's pockets and out of the community because they owed stuff. And so the way that the laws are written here in Missouri, you can attach your contract with the notion that if the person doesn't pay, then you can use all these methods to collect, including garnishing checks. And so it's a really powerful article if you get a chance to, it's called The Color of Debt. Mm-hmm. And it really, $34 million just in 4 years. And you know, I just ask people to think about what those families could have done with $34 million. So when it comes to like wealth, and black people accumulating wealth, it's almost impossible to do because there's all these laws, policies, and procedures in place that keep sucking us dry. So when you want to know about the roots of rebellion, that's part of those roots of rebellion. So when we talk about, for example, healthcare, Do people know why Regional is closed? Regional Hospital in Del Mar?
No.
Been closed for a couple of years now. It's closed because the basically Republican-controlled House in Jeff City has refused to pass, accept Medicaid expansion. That's all. That's the reason it's closed. Poor people don't have anywhere to go. So, you know, on the one hand, when I ask that question, hardly anybody knows why. So that means that things are happening right in our midst, and we don't understand or know. Somebody said they thought it was mismanagement. I'm like,